I have my wonderful husband on the show today. Do you harbor any resentment towards me for getting pregnant so quickly? Do you feel like you had to suppress any of your emotions? What was it like for you watching me become a shell of myself?
Like, you don't know me, you don't know my woman, you don't know how we got here, you don't know what we feel, you don't know how we're making these decisions, you have nothing to say about me, you know nothing about me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Mariah Hutchinson. Happy Monday. As you guys can see, we are in a very different area. We got a very different vibe going on, and that is because I have my wonderful husband on the show today. He hasn't been on the show since our engagement episode, so you're officially talking to the Hutchinsons, but this is his office. He wanted to do something moody and vibey, or obviously he didn't want to be in a pink background. So we are here today to talk about our story of being pregnant. The day that we're recording this, I found out I was pregnant 3 years ago. So I know that you guys have kind of heard my side of the story and my thoughts and my feelings, but I really wanted to get Justin's perspective. What? Oh my gosh.
Killed it.
Ew.
Yeah.
Anyways, like I was saying, I wanted you guys to be able to hear Justin's side of the story so that he could share how he was feeling, and just like what he was going through during that time. And I was telling Justin, like, this is something that I don't think we've ever really talked about together. Like, I feel like you've heard my feelings, but I feel like I've never really gotten to hear your raw, true feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Girls in Real Life podcast, not the Justin in Real Life podcast.
I know, but I think it'll be helpful for anyone who is like going through this to just kind of see what their partner might be experiencing, because I know a lot of times, especially as women, when things are happening to us, we don't necessarily consider the feelings of our partner, and especially men in our lives, because we're so concerned with like them trying to make us feel better and regulate our emotions, but we don't ever like, I feel like it was very hard for me to be there for you in that time, you know?
Yeah, I get it. Well, I appreciate you giving me a chance to share my story. I guess I didn't realize I never told it, but at the same time, like, you know, whenever everything just happened, I did what I had to do, kind of shifted into a new gear. So just had to jump in line, make you feel comfortable, get ready. We about to be parents, so that's all it was.
Well, yeah, today it'll be kind of like me interviewing you. So I hope you're ready to answer some hard questions.
Yeah, that's fine. I wish you would have sent the questions in advance.
Why?
That's how they normally do whenever I do interviews.
I honestly think the mosquito bit me because I cannot stop scratching my foot.
Probably tore you up because it looked like it was full of blood.
Well, before we jump into the questions that I have for Justin, for anyone who's new here, we will like very briefly run through this story because we've talked about it so many times on the podcast. But yeah, me and Justin got pregnant very early on in our relationship, 2 months after meeting each other. And from there, I don't know what's the best way to like tell the story without telling the full story.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. We, you know, the people go to the vulgar thing of like, oh yeah, you just gave it up and y'all got pregnant after 2 months, and it really wasn't that. Like, we spent every day together for a period of 2 months.
Yeah, and we were on some like Love Island time type stuff. Like
I don't want to be remotely compared to anything on that show. Thank God you're not like Huda. But anyways,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it was just, we spent a lot of time together. We got very, very close, very, very quick, you know, and I think our love blossomed very, very fast and went from 0 to 100 in a lot of ways, you know, and I think that everything felt so natural, so nothing felt rushed. It was 100% like what we wanted to be doing, where we wanted to be, and, you know, just growing and growing with each other, even if, like, you know, we weren't doing it under the right ways of, like, you know, God at the time. Not that we were living like sinners, but we definitely weren't living like the way we are now. Yeah. So, I think that, you know, we just grew really, really fast, and then, you know, fell into that situation. You know, Ace was a little bit of an oopsie, but the best oopsie we've ever had. So I think that I don't regret any of it whatsoever, but it definitely, dated for a little bit, got pregnant, and then really escalated everything about our relationship after that, from getting to know one another to, you know, becoming parents and living together, and all the things kind of just escalated very quickly after that. Because, you know, once you decide, like, okay, this is what we're doing, like, we're having him, we're moving forward, it was time to like lock in. No playing about the relationship either. So we definitely fast tracked our relationship development, I think. But yeah, that's the story, you know, like dating, falling in love really, really fast, and then getting pregnant quick, which was not in the cards, but still with the right person. So I was happy to keep moving after that.
Yeah. What was like your first reaction to me telling you that I was pregnant? Because we were in two different states at the time.
Yeah.
He was in California for work, and I had just gotten back from California because I actually went out there with him and came back because I had to do a volleyball camp that following weekend. And so when I found out I was by myself, I called my aunt first because she's a nurse and I just really needed like a health professional's perspective on like what I should do because I just had no idea like what my options were at the time. And Justin called me while I was on the phone with her because I don't think I was going to call you. I really don't, because I knew that you were working and you had things to do. So when you called me and I felt like I had to call you back and I told you, like, what was your first raw reaction?
Whenever it happened, it's like you get like this massive rush to your head and almost get like a little bit lightheaded. You're like, whoa. And then like for me, it was kind of like disbelief. I was like, wait, like I could have swore I couldn't have a baby. I was like, man, like goodness. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm physically even capable of having kids at this point. But like whenever it happened, like everything definitely rushed my head at once. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then like in my mind, I tried to start decoding when and like was able to quickly get to the when. Like I was like, oh yeah, I think I know the one situation that probably happened. And then like I don't think I like acted in a way that made you feel like, oh my goodness, like this isn't gonna work. I was very much like a okay, breathe.
You were very
I was like,
calming.
I breathed for a little bit and I was like, okay. And then I think I pivoted a lot of my energy to making sure you were straight, because like it's at the end of the day, like my body's not about to change. Like it's a whole different level of announcement for me. But I was like, oh goodness, like okay, like get your mind right and do it quick. And like that's all I knew. And at that point, like my mentality pivoted to just taking care of you, making sure that you were good. Like, okay, how do you feel? Where's your mind at? Like I knew you were freaking out and you were concerned with me going to I was going to a soccer game with my client, and then you were like no, go. And I was like, I'll go, but like, just I'm letting you know right now, like it's like it doesn't really matter. Like I'll come home right now if you want me to. Like, and I was just ready to get back to you and make sure you were straight. Like I would have done anything at that point. So, yeah, I mean, like I weathered the storm through the night, and then, like I said, was texting you, calling you throughout the night, and just making sure you were straight. But it was a lot at one time, a big rush to my head, and then like my mind immediately pivoted to like, okay, like make sure she's good. Like like show up for her in this moment, because it's like. It's what's done is done. What it is what it is, and like we kind of gotta just pivot to, supporting one another. So that was my mindset right then and there. It's like breathe and then lock in.
I think our reactions were so different because where I was like shocked and scared, you were very like calming and reassuring. Even though you were probably having those same thoughts and feelings yourself, like you were the one that was like, we can do this. Like, it's going to be okay. We can actually figure this out if it's really what we want to do. So like when you make a decision, don't think that it should be based out of us not being able to handle it. Really make the decision based off of what do you want to do. And that was like, I mean, it was still a very difficult decision to make, but just knowing that you felt not at peace about it, but just kind of like more reassured about it and like confident that we could do it. It made me feel like, okay, maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, I felt confident because like it's a lot of factors that go into having a kid. It's like one of them is, okay, like can you financially afford that kid? And it's like, all right, like I'm not worried about money. Like I'm doing pretty well for myself at the age of what at the time I was 26.
You were 25, turning 26.
I'm tripping. Yeah, Ace is almost there. Yeah, so I was like, but still making a really good amount of money for my age. And then like I already had my house, like everything was good. I was like, man, we can really just fall in, like we could fall in line. Everything's kind of structured for it. And then, I set a goal for myself whenever I was a kid to have to have kids by the age of 27. I was like, that seems like a good and healthy age. And like 27 comes quick is what I'll tell you. Like it definitely came quick. So it's like, I don't know if I could have benefited from more time or not, but like timing was what it was. And at that moment I was like, okay, like, I can afford a kid. I have a good place to raise this kid if we choose to stay here. I love you, and I knew that you were my person. That was probably the most important thing for me. It was like beyond all of the other stuff, like the money and the technical things you try and walk through as like a man to try and rationalize it. For me, it was like the one irrational thing that people, I mean, I guess it's not rational. People always try and talk about like, well, you got to love the person that you're with. Like, that's life. And I mean, they talk about it, but it sounds hokey, but it's actually like one of the first things I consider is like, okay, well, what have these past 2 to 3 months shown me about this person? Is this somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with? And then ultimately like saying like, yeah, like I still want to go through this journey with this person, even in such a short time. So yeah, it was like really putting that at the top of the totem pole. And then after that, just rationalizing it. And for me, it was a no brainer, but I know for you, you were in a different financial situation coming out of like living with your sister. Like you weren't nearly as stable as I was. So it's like, I had to make you feel stable with my stability. It's like I know I'm solid over here. And if you with me, we good. But it's like, if you got to make the decision for yourself, for your body, for your mental, for everything on whether like, this is the journey you want to embark upon, but I'm good to go. Like, so it was just, yeah, like that's how I kind of rationalize it in my mind, I'd say.
I've posted a lot of videos recently just like about our story and our journey, and I've gotten quite some interesting comments. And one of the comments was that you like harbor resentment towards me.
Whoever said that's dusty as hell, and I'm saying that too.
Wait, let me ask the question. Do you harbor any resentment towards me for getting pregnant so quickly?
I don't think people really realize like I was the one really batting for this. Like I was like I was the one that really wanted. Like, first of all, do you see how beautiful my wife is? That's first and foremost. So like I definitely won. Like I beyond the beauty though, like how amazing of a person she is, like it's a no-brainer for me. Like I was like, okay, yeah, you're my person. I want this. Like I want my baby from you. Like we got to do this. It's like there's no resentment whatsoever towards this. Like I'm not missing out on anything. I'm very happy to be married to my wife. It's nothing that I'm missing out on in this life really. And like I've been there, done that, seen the things, lived a full life. And even that is something that you could dissect. If I want to come for anybody, come for the life I lived. I mean, like it wasn't the cleanest life ever, and I've had far more experiences than I wish I did. I honestly wish I didn't go through a lot of things or put myself through a lot of things I put myself through, all the way up until our relationship. So it's like I look at it like, man, I lived about as full of a life as there is. Like I don't really have many questions beyond it. I think that there was no resentment that I hold towards you then or now or in the future behind Ace, none whatsoever. I don't feel scammed. I don't feel cheated. I don't know what all I can say to make it very clear. Like, man, like this is the life I've prayed for. And as crazy as it sounds, just given the fact that like we had a baby outside of wedlock within 2 months of dating one another, like God still finds a way to put his hand on those that he really, really has plans for. And it's not for me to understand those plans, but like I firmly love and appreciate and thank God for the life that he's built for me. I always say that he's writing the story better than I could have ever written it for myself. And I think that y'all are like the major characters and pieces of my story, just like I am for y'all. It's like I wouldn't have it any other way, and I hold no resentment towards what God brought to us. If anything, I'm just more thankful for it. So yeah, the word resentment don't come to mind. Even in the times when it was hard, like, and really trying to go through the ins and outs of learning one another, I still didn't resent it then. And that was the one time that I probably could have. It's like, oh my goodness, like, this person's not exactly who I thought they were. Like, she doesn't think exactly how I thought she did whenever we first dated. Like, it was some painful moments where I had to realize, like, okay, we're two different people that don't view things the same way. Yeah. And even in those moments when I felt like, dang, like this is hard, like I don't feel like we're communicating on the same wavelength, I still was like nowhere near the word of resentment. So to answer the question, no resentment whatsoever, just all good vibes and happiness over here. So yeah, I didn't appreciate that comment, but we gonna let it go.
We definitely had like a lot of ups and downs, especially early on in our relationship, and I definitely was like dealing with a lot of just like bad mental thoughts and negative thoughts about myself, about the situation. Because of that, do you feel like you had to suppress any of your emotions in order to help me with mine?
I mean, like, I don't know if suppress is the right word, but like one of the main things about loving and being loved by someone is understanding that like we're not always going to be on the same wavelength, in the sense of like you're not always going to be like high energy, happy, good, everything's well, especially navigating pregnancy with all those hormones. And like I try my best to keep my energy neutral, to where, or like either positive or neutral. That way, like I could uplift you whenever you're down, but neutral in the sense of like even whenever you're down, like bring you back to equilibrium. Like, it wasn't about like, I didn't want to force my energy on you in those moments. And like, even though you were dealing with a lot of stuff too mentally, like, yeah, I had my stuff to deal with, but like, it really wasn't about me. Like, and I think that one thing about me maturing into a father, into a husband, was like the realization that, hey, like, it's really not about me. Like, they talk about how being a real father and being a real husband is about a lot of sacrifice. And that's like, it truly is. It's like the most sacrificial role I've ever played in my life. Like, there's a lot of things I don't feel like doing. Like, I feel like doing a lot. I don't feel like picking up my shoes all the time. My shoes are all over this room right now. I don't feel like cleaning up the house sometimes. I don't feel like doing laundry. There's a lot of stuff I don't feel like doing. But at the end of the day, you make those sacrifices for your partner. So in those moments, whenever you were really struggling mentally and going through it, like, it wasn't about me. Like, it's like, okay, even if I didn't feel the greatest, I need to understand, like, okay, this is a sacrifice to make sure that you're good. Because at the end of the day, if you're not good, the baby's not good. And if the baby's not good, none of us good. And really, honest, it's just like a full thing where you have to make sure that you're caring for the person across from you more than yourself. And that's honestly what you want to talk about the Bible. That's what the Bible's all about in the first place. It's like caring for somebody else the way that you would want to be cared for, and even more than yourself at times. And I think that me becoming a father and a husband really was about embodying that, as like understanding, like, okay, I gotta care for you. And I wasn't always perfect in that, but like I felt like I always tried to put that back at the forefront wherever I could.
Do you feel like you were able to express any of your fears about the future to me, or did you think that by expressing those fears it would make me like second guess my decision?
No, I didn't really embody a spirit of fear whenever we were navigating it all. Like, I didn't have much fear in me. Like, the fears I have are like weird. They're not things that people would normally be like fearful of. Like, I'm worried about like Ace and his test coming back good for like not having Down syndrome or having any type of birth defect. Like, I'm worried about that stuff, like the health of the baby. Like, so it's like, I'm not really like worried. I wasn't fearful of like our path as much. Like, and there was nothing I was like fearful of telling you in hopes, in the sense that it would like make you feel some type of way. Like, I think that even in that period of like you being pregnant and having to navigate it, like, I was very real about like the feelings I was having too. Like, I remember like we would get in some disagreements and I would make it very clear to you, like, hey, look, like, even if we are making the decision to be with, like, to have this baby, it doesn't mean that like we're making the decision to spend the rest of our life together outside of that. Like, I mean, even that was like a slow rolling our relationship and saying like I was still very much focused on our relationship through that whole period, even beyond the fact that we were having a baby. So it's like, I feel like I communicated everything I felt as I felt it, where it made sense at. And there was nothing where I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't get to say this, or I was afraid to say this. Cause like at the end of the day, we were, once you at the point of like pregnancy, you telling everything like it is. Like, it's like, this is what it is. This is what I think. This is how I feel. You with that? Because we already got one in the oven right now. So what we gonna do? So it was definitely like that. Like, I didn't have much fear about telling you anything, you know. And I just was, like I said, trying to figure out my own stuff a little bit in the background, but it was all good.
What you mean your own stuff in the background?
Like, as in, like, trying to figure out, like get my mind right, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, prepare myself mentally. Yeah, like, you know, get my mind right, get ready to be a dad, like, deal with all that stuff. Like, it was just my lock-in time, like I said. So I was more worried about, like, yo, man, lock the hell in. Like, not communicating, like, hey, I got to lock the hell in right now. You know, but I guess no fear behind it. I just knew I had to, you know, get ready.
Yeah. When you first met me, I feel like I was very much like fun and outgoing and like optimistic. And I feel like once I found out I was pregnant, all of those characteristics about myself just like slowly started going away. And I like went into a hole and kind of became a little bit depressed a little.
Yeah.
What was it like for you watching me become a shell of myself?
It was like not fun or ideal at all. Like, I knew it was gonna happen, and I knew it when it was happening, and I was like, all right, well, this is where we're at. So once again, like, sacrifice, pivoting. Like, I was like, all right, well, like, let me find a way to counteract this as much as possible. Like, give you everything you need to feel supported, whether it was space, gifts, words of affirmation, like every love language I could throw at you, I would throw at you until you felt like, okay, this is, like, you felt better, you know? And like consistency, I just have to remain consistent. Like, I think that it was, it wasn't gonna be an overnight thing. You weren't just gonna shake out of it one day. You know, it was just like continue showing up and be relentless in that. And if I did a good enough job of that, then like eventually you would come out of it. And you know, there was no guarantee that you would have either. You know, but I just was trying to make sure I can control what I can control, which is like showing up every day and being consistent in hopes that you would come out of it. But it was hard though. I mean, it was like a lot. You struggling with like hair loss, body changes, all the symptoms that you had while you were pregnant. It wasn't ideal, and you definitely didn't feel the best. But like, you know, we navigate through it. I mean, it was less than ideal, but you know, I had to just make sure I showed up every day, and that was it.
Were you ever frustrated with me for how long it took me to get to a place where I like fully accepted where we were going and what was happening?
Maybe. I mean, like that maybe is the one thing I experienced. Like I feel like for a while, like I'd probably say for the first trimester, it was like, it was hard because like that was your, I don't know, yeah, probably your peak depression. And like you had to move in with me, and you weren't happy about that initially. But I was like, if you're gonna have my baby, then we're gonna do this. And like it was just there was a lot of back and forth in those first 3 months of like what you were gonna do. It was a lot of back and forth. And like eventually I did get to the point where I was like, man, look, like you can make whatever decision you want to, but like I would really appreciate if you didn't pull me in different directions with it. Cause like there were some times where it seemed like you were leaning to like, you know, not moving forward with it. And I was like, okay. And then sometimes where you were like, but I think we can do it. And like, so I was like, okay. And I, you know, I'll get excited and happy. And then like, it'll be back and forth. It was changing a lot. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, you're going to need to make a decision, man. Like, I'm like, one, we ain't got time. Two, like,
we're running out of time.
Yeah, like we're literally running out of time. And two, like, as strong as I'm trying to be for you, like, I still am like very much in tune with my emotions, and I'm feeling everything. And it was like, I'm trying my best to prioritize you, move forward with it. But like, man, look, like, I at least need to know if we're doing this. Cause like I said, I was getting my mind right. I was getting my stuff together. I was like, okay, cool. I'm locking in. We about to move forward with this. We're going to have this baby. Everything's going to be what it is. Like I was locking in, but then like, imagine doing all that to like, then hear like, but we might not do it. And it's like, oh, like, man, like, I don't know, man. It's like your parents telling you going to the beach and then like, no, we not, but you already got your freaking swim trunks on. Like it's not ideal. It's like, man, I can't keep getting ready and getting my mind right and getting excited and showing up for you in every way. And I love you either way, like I do. But man, like this hurts too, because I know what I want, and I'm very sure and confident in my situation and the path forward here. But you know, that was probably the only frustration I had with you, was like first trimester you weren't able to really accept it yourself, and then it was like I didn't know. You changed like by the week.
Did you like feel helpless at times?
Yeah, that's a great word to describe it. I think I talked to your aunt about it, and I think I called her. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, you need to talk to us something, because like at this point, nothing I'm saying is like clicking. Like I don't know what to do, and yeah, like your aunt, she gave me like so much like positive affirmation, and like she probably spoke for you in a lot of ways, but like luckily it matched, you know, what you actually felt about me and felt about us. But yeah, it was like in those moments I was definitely like, okay, goodness, this is just a lot. So
did it change the way that you viewed me at all, like as a woman or as a partner?
No, I don't think it wasn't personal. Like I didn't take any of it personal. Like I think that it's a very personal decision you're making, so it would have been stupid for me to take it personal. So I wasn't upset about that. I don't think less of you because like you were considering it or anything like that. I was like, no, it's real life situations that we're dealing with here. And regardless of what anybody feels about, you know, a woman being able to make a choice about her body, that is the reality of the world and what I think is right personally, you know. And while I do believe in like every baby deserves a chance at life, like I fully understood like how big of a decision this was to do this. And you know, we lived in a state at the time where like, okay, we have options. But
yeah, I mean, honestly, at the time they had just revoked Roe versus, was it Roe versus, not Roe versus Wade?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
But either way, yeah, I mean, like, and we had our roundabout methods of being able to navigate it, but still the thing is like, I was never anything personal towards you. It's like you had your own decision to make with it, and you know, I was gonna try my best to support you either way. I just need being in liminality for for a period of 3 months was a little bit difficult, but like everything else I could handle. It's just like, yo, can we just decide what we doing? Like, so that was pretty much it.
Were there ever any moments that you can remember where you missed pre-pregnancy me?
Pre-pregnancy you and pregnancy, with the exception of like the depression and the sadness. Like, I mean, I guess I missed you in some ways. Like, I think I could have, but like in the sense of like, I just missed you being happy and like fun, and not necessarily the carefree side, because like you over-index on that. You was always was like, I don't know, you were nonchalant, so I guess maybe that is a little bit carefree, but you weren't like carefree playing the wind and like all is well. You're just kind of like you were just like go with the flow, everything's fine, kind of. Yeah. But like I think that you maintain that that's just your energy as a person. It was more like like I wish that you could have been happier at times. Like honestly, I just wish that we could have enjoyed the pregnancy a little bit more. Like, because it was still a beautiful process, you know, but if we could have enjoyed the pregnancy more, that would have been cool, you know. But like I said, we do what we got to do. So
I think that's like one of my biggest regrets is I didn't allow myself to enjoy it more because I was so obsessed with like the perception that other people were going to have of me, and I didn't allow myself to like embrace all the things and be happy and excited and nurture my bump, like all the things that I wish I could go back and tell myself in time that I would have done. You know, like I do wish that I would have been more intentional about like, okay, I only get 9 months of this, I'm growing a baby, this is like the closest we'll ever be, and I should feel excited about that and I should feel happy about that. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't, because I hate myself. I hate that I put myself in this position, and like I didn't see my life going this way, so it was just really difficult for me to just embrace it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
I mean, it's your journey. I mean, like, I guess it is. I don't disagree that that's what you were thinking. That's what you were feeling. Like I lived it with you. I was right there too. I wish you could have enjoyed it more too. Ditto. Nothing much more to say there. I mean, like, it's
maybe next time.
It's definitely maybe. It's definitely the reality of it. Like, you know, I wish you could have enjoyed it more, but like I don't know. I never felt shame. Like I never felt the things you felt. So that's why I like.
Yeah, but I think it's because as a man, like you don't have the proof on you.
Yeah,
and
I don't have to wear it.
Yeah, like as a woman, it's like if you're not married and like you're just out and about and like this happens to you, you know, like everybody sees it, everybody knows you're pregnant, you can't hide it forever. So it's like, yeah, you do have some level of
you gotta address it head on. Whereas with me, like, you'll see if I'm pregnant.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I get what you mean.
And no one had to know about it unless you wanted them to know about it, essentially. And it was like I didn't have that choice of like.
Yeah, because you couldn't hide yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair difference. You do have to physically wear it. For me, like I chose to tell people. I didn't shy away from it.
Yeah.
It's not like it wasn't a cute thing to say. I don't think like, oh yeah, like I got, like, yeah, keep in mind, like for those that don't know, like I was coming out of an engagement months prior to that, and then like a toxic situationship in between, and then like me and you met each other in a time where I was really not trying to get into anything. Which you make a good point. Like you were the one that had to physically wear the baby and go out and deal with the shame of it. But like for me, like I know how it looked for me, I should say. Like I was bouncing from situation to situation. It looked like I was hoeing around and just throwing my stuff wherever, and that doesn't feel good for me either. And people can make inferences about me and assumptions about me. And you're right. Maybe the male double standard does exist of like, oh, guys can be players and do what they want, and women have to be good and keep their legs closed. It's like maybe that's what the mentality that people have is. But for me, I don't think that like I carried an immense amount of shame, but I knew how it was going to look. And it's like, it is what it is though. And like for me, I very much don't care about what people have to say. You know, I'm like, whatever. I really could care less what you think about me and my life. Like, you don't know me, you don't know my woman, you don't know how we got here, you don't know what we feel, you don't know how we're making these decisions. You have nothing to say about me, you know nothing about me. And like I very much move like that. But like I understand how you couldn't, because like you're met with immediate reactions and feelings and thoughts and faces. And for me, if people made them, I'd be like, I ain't gonna pull up the finger I want, but like I really could care less, you know, like that's on you. So I mean, maybe that's what it is like I know how it could have looked for me just coming out of the situations I was coming out of, and it was just like, you know, at the end of the day, I really could care less what people felt about it. I knew what we were in. I knew where we were headed. And at that point, it was just time to get serious, like I said.
Did you feel any shame spiritually?
At that time in my spiritual journey, to be frank, I think that coming out of the situationship I was in after my broken engagement, like that's probably the furthest away from God I had ever been in my life. And like I get sad thinking about that season of my life, and like the version of myself that I saw, I'm still not proud of where I let it take me, the way I reacted to things. It was just the worst version of myself. And, I hated it. And I'm thankful for that experience, though, because it showed me the worst version of myself.
Yeah.
It showed me what like the wrong person can bring out of me. And, like it is what it is. Like me and that person were not meant for each other. But like it showed me so much that like I really hated about myself. And I think that was like the furthest away I've ever been from God. And like I said, after that, I knew I had some healing and some rebuilding to do with myself. And like, that's why whenever you came around, it's like, I could easily say like you were a godsend, because you recentered me around God. But like, I was in a period of really trying to get back close. And I think that maybe at the time my mind didn't comprehend, the sin and the shame that I had like put us in. And then it took me talking to like my mentor, my pastor, and understanding I'll call it the betrayal, for lack of a better phrase, but like the betrayal of your trust and of my own self-trust with God in my relationship. It took me really maturing in my spiritual journey, which came down the line. Like it came like even after Ace was, born. That's whenever I really started understanding it. I talked to God more than I ever did during a pregnancy. And, I've sustained that for the most part since. But I'll say like whenever we first got pregnant, like I don't think I was close enough to hear the voice, but my eyes were open enough to see the blessing, if that makes sense. And I was like, okay, like this is where my life is headed, and it's for a reason. But I don't think that I was nearly as close to God as I am today.
We were both kind of not where we are spiritually now back then. So I just kind of wanted to.
Yeah, no, it's been a journey. I've had to evolve with that, like continually, like every month. I go through different tests, new levels, new devils, and sometimes the same devil's popping up, and I'm having to kind of just conquer it and move forward. But I mean, at that time, I can acknowledge what I was coming out of, and knowing that was probably the furthest away from God that I've ever been. And like, not that I was a godless man, but I definitely wasn't walking the walk, and wasn't even talking the talk, wasn't even having my ears open, wasn't even opening my mouth to say things about God. Like I really probably was super far off base, but just me coming from the upbringing I had of like being so aware of God, surrounded by God, like going to a Christian school, dealing with that definitely at church, praying to God all the time. Like even if he wasn't in front of my face, I know he was always still guiding my steps and protecting me. So I felt his protection, but I definitely wasn't where I needed to be.
Let's talk about becoming a dad. Like, did you have any fears about becoming a dad? And if so, what was like your biggest fear? I know you talked about like the health and stuff with me being pregnant, but like you thinking of yourself as a dad, the baby is here. Did you have any fears about that?
I know I had a lot to learn. I know I had a lot to learn, so I ain't gonna act like I didn't have no fears. Yeah, I probably had some fears. Mainly like fear of keeping him safe, keeping him healthy, making sure he's fine. Like those were some of the things. And then like at that point, like you gotta keep in mind, I'm like my family has been surrounded by like infidelity. Like it's been kind of like all over my family for generations and generations. And then like you feel that immense amount of pressure to break generational curses. And it's like, okay, like I need to really lock in. Like I don't want to throw this away. And every single time I think about Ace, I think about like, man, I can't have him come up in a household where he doesn't have his mom and his dad. And like, I can't do that to you because I've seen what I've done to my mom. And like I said, I just didn't want to continue making the same mistakes that got my family to where it was at, and replicate that, especially as we move forward in growing our relationship and then, future marriage and stuff. Like I was like, man, I really got to like tighten up, especially me struggling with infidelity issues in the past. So I was like, look, I need to really get serious about this. So after he was here, I think I definitely started grasping my mind around the concept that, this is also like, if I cheat on you, I cheat on him. If I do him wrong, I do you wrong. Like if I mess up on him, I mess up on you. If I, all the things that I do to you or to him, like it goes to the other person. And it's like, I'm really accountable for two people at this point. And it really weighed heavy on me. I wanted to make sure, like I said, I did break those generational curses. And I was thankful that whenever I was finally able to, like, you know, mentally shed that and the shame and that devil that I had on me. Like I call it the devil, but it's like just that one thing that the devil was using to keep me suppressed and living in shame and in sin. Like once I was able to finally like kind of put that behind me and just move forward and say like, no, I'm making the conscious decision to be here with my family, show up with my family, love my wife, care for my wife, do right by my wife, and like let go of my past mistakes and really move forward in this. Like that's whenever everything like started feeling better. And like, did I feel an immense attack from the devil after that? Yeah, absolutely. Like the devil threw his best at me, and like I think he still continues to try to at some points. But you know, I think it definitely was one thing I was fearful of was like, okay, like don't repeat the same generational curses you've seen. And I'm thankful for those along the way who like helped me, talked to me, poured into me, and like gave me words of confidence and accepted that about me whenever like, you know, I decided like, look, man, this is who I want to be, you know, and I don't want to sit down here and play cool and be flirtatious and talk about women and do all that. I don't really want to do that, you know. And all of my closest people were like, yeah, like we understand, like we know what journey you're on, that's fine, and we care for you the same way. So yeah, I think that was it for me. It was like breaking the generational curse was a big thing that I had to do, and there was a lot of fear behind messing up.
You're doing a great job.
Trying.
Ace is 2 now, which is crazy to think about, and he's just like the light of our world. So what has been your favorite part about being a dad so far?
Oh, it's rough, man, because he really loved his mama like so much, like which is cool. Like I'm all about it, but he's a mama's boy.
You love me so much too.
I know I do, but like, and we compete for you sometimes, which is sad. But like, yeah, he is like a bundle of joy, man. I look at him, I see so much of myself, like the best parts of a Hutchinson man. Because for those of y'all that don't know, like I did lose my dad at a young age, relatively young, you know. But in losing my dad, like I've heard so much about the hallmark of a Hutchinson man and what a Hutchinson man looks like, and it's the same thing you see in me, my brother, my uncles, and you know, like my dad's side of my uncles, which you haven't met many of them. You met Uncle Hopeton, which he's very kind, and that was awesome. But I mean, really, like the hallmark of a Hutchinson man is a person that will give you the shirt off their back, like will do anything for anybody, super happy, super extroverted, super kind, you know. And then like in seeing how Ace behaves, he embodies a lot of those traits of a Hutchinson man already. And like, I love to see how that's passed down. And then for me directly, like he definitely has he has a mix of our introversion and extroversion, because you're an introvert and I'm an extrovert, and I'm like
an introverted extrovert.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but maybe you might be the, I don't know. Yeah, but he like is the perfect blend of it, because like he knows how to turn it on and be super sweet, charming, extroverted, and he also like sometimes he just don't want to be bothered, and like he knows how to do both of those things. His personality is like already really formed at the age of 2, so I think that
he's so funny.
I've loved seeing his like personality develop. I love seeing him physically develop. Like it's really cool to see like how he's like running and doing all these like mechanical things. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it gets me excited as like a former athlete to see it. I'm like, yeah, my boy, you know, he to work on his coordination a little bit, but other than that, he runs fast, he runs a lot. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so I get excited about seeing his growth and his development. And I think seeing the hallmark traits of a Hutchinson man, of like his kindness, his sweetness. Like I think I love seeing that and being like, hey man, you're one of us.
How do you feel like being a father has shaped your faith and just like who you are as a person now?
Yeah, I mean, I think truly a godless man cannot lead a family, cannot lead his wife, cannot lead his children. That is my stance, and that's why I've really leaned in lately on getting close to God and talking to him more, you know. And like I said, the devil does throw as many attacks as he can, because once he feels you getting strong, he's like, nah, I got a problem. I was watching this thing the other day of like saying how like if the devil isn't like attacking you, then that means that you're doing everything he wants. He's real happy with you. You the devil's favorite.
That's
like,
a word.
Yeah, like you the devil's favorite if you're doing everything wrong. So he ain't gonna talk to you. He ain't gonna bother you. He ain't gonna send no questions to you. But meanwhile, I'm over here in turmoil. Boy, I think I got heart issues. My mind going crazy. We think we got stalkers. Like everything is just like, man, just so much stuff is like being thrown at me. So many attacks that I feel, and it's like I know that we're on the precipice of something great, but also that means that I think I'm on the right path of being a man worth walking alongside for you and for Ace to be worth following. So I think that for me, it has definitely excelled my journey with God. It's not, once again, not a perfect process, but lately I've been finding myself really embodying grace a lot too with this journey. And, while people will try to condemn, and a lot of folks will try and say certain things, and even if you read the Old Testament in the Bible, you will feel condemned reading it. But it took me really maturing and understanding what the Bible means to understand the concept of grace and embracing grace as I do navigate this journey of growing closer and closer to God. And once again, he's always been close. Like, if you see my tattoos, pretty much all of them are biblical. I've been around the Bible my whole life. There's so much about my life that is honestly intertwined with God, because once again, I couldn't have written my story better than he's written it for me. But whenever, I think about Ace, he's definitely been a catalyst for me getting closer to God. And you have been also, setting the table, being like, look, like, we're not having sex before marriage. We're recommitting our relationship to God. That was very, very difficult. That was very, very hard for me. But, I went into that, and that was once again like a big moment where I was like, okay, like, I'm making the conscious decision about who I want to be. And I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to do anything wrong. Like, I want to be here, and I want to grow in the ways I need to. So I definitely did. So
that's another episode I'll have to have you talk about. That's
gonna be a whole. To make that episode very, very short is rough. It's real rough. It wasn't easy. Not ideal. 0 out of 10. Don't JK. 10 out of 10 do recommend for what it resulted in, but it still was not easy in the moment. And no, I didn't just go down without trying. I tried, but it just, and I ain't proud of it. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be a devil and tempt my wife, but a brother needed something, and it didn't work though. She held on. We went them months without it, them long, hard, cold months.
Yeah. And we made it.
Barely.
Last question. What is some advice or something that you would say to other dads or fathers out there who are expecting unexpectedly?
Expecting unexpectedly. Brother, you better lock in. you better lock in. And I mean that in all the ways. Like, I know the temptations, I know the thoughts, I know the freedom that you still hold, because to your point earlier, which was like profound to hear for the first time, but the idea that, you don't carry it, the woman does, and you can walk around this world freely and make whatever decisions you want to, but just keep in mind that your decisions now impact other people, and you can very well throw your life away before it ever gets started. And if you're lucky to see it through and, move forward with it, you'll reap one of the biggest blessings you've ever had. But it's definitely, I know how hard it is in that transitionary period. I know the attacks that get thrown at you. I know the things that you could do. I know the things that you want to do. I know the things that you want to say. And I've been there. I think it's really about like locking in and like get ready, not even get ready. Just start sacrificing. Like, every day you wake up, pivot. Instead of thinking about yourself first, think about your woman. Think about the baby. Like, pivot your mindset to being sacrificial, because that's what true leadership is in the first place. If you play sports, you know that. If you're a leader at your job, you know that. Like, leaders eat last, and that's what it is. So you need to embrace that immediately. Like, immediately embrace that mindset. Show up for your woman every single day. Sacrifice in ways that you never had before, but the ways that you need to. I hope this stuff is working, because it's not jumping when I talk.
Baby, you not worried about that. You worried about this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you need to like sacrifice in ways that you never have before. Like, do everything that you can possibly do to make sure that your family feels straight. And like, in moments you're gonna feel like it's dark, it's not enough, you're not appreciated. Not that I felt a lot of these things, but I'm just saying how it could be.
It's okay if you did.
No, I'm trying to say, but I'm not, because I don't feel like, maybe sometimes, but like, you're gonna feel, there's gonna be moments where you question whether or not it's worth it, how much you're sacrificing, and I promise you it is. Like, I promise you. But like, if you don't lock in, you're not gonna get to really reap those benefits. You end up squandering it before you ever get it in your hands, and it's really easy to lose the life that you're about to be in and that you're about to be living for yourself and for your family. So you need to make sure that you lock in fast. Like, you do need to draw closer to God. I believe what I said earlier about being a godless man, and how being, if you're a godless man, you cannot thoughtfully lead your family or your children. So you have to get close to him, understand the word, understand what he wants and expects out of a husband, out of a father. That way you can pour into your woman spiritually, pray for your woman, think about your woman, do all the things that you need to do to ensure that spiritually you're caring for her, physically you're caring for her, emotionally you're caring for her, and then find time for yourself. Like, you do need to sit down there and still have those moments. It's not always gonna be easy. I'm not trying to say like put yourself on the back burner, because like that girl probably think that's what resentment comes from, the one that commented that. But it's not about that. Like, you need to find dedicated spurts to think about yourself, to care for yourself. But for the most part, like, whether you chose to do this, if the woman's going to make all these sacrifices to have that baby from the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual standpoint, the least you can do is sacrifice a little bit on your side, because it's not like you have to carry everything with you and go through that same level of turmoil. You got to work a little harder, so be it. You got to go cash another check, fine, work harder. You gotta wake up and get the kids out of bed, cool. You gotta go run to the store to get something for her. You want to get her some ice cream because she feeling bad. You just gotta go do that. That's just what you kind of gotta go do. But if that's the extent of your struggle, then man, you're lucky and you're blessed. And if God says the same, you'll be blessed to hold your baby one day and think that, wow, I've done as much right by these two people as I can. And I'm somebody worth following and walking alongside. So my long-winded way of saying, like, lock in, brother. Just lock in.
I love that. That was good, baby.
Thank you. Appreciate
well, before we end the episode, I just want to, I'm going to try and do this without crying.
Mm-hmm. You got to give me a present or something?
No, I just want to, thank you.
Oh, it's all good, baby. Happy that done. I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Even, like I said, even if there was more ideal ways, our way was the way it happened, and it was meant to be that way. So
yeah,
we got a beautiful boy sleeping upstairs right now. I'm not.
Yes.
I wouldn't have it any other way. No.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna say too much because y'all already know I'm a crybaby. But thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom and offering your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. I feel like this was really good. I learned a lot about your feelings and thoughts during that time, which I like. That I know that now.
Likewise. The people say they want me on more of your social content.
Yeah, y'all love some Justin.
Y'all need to go ahead and just we're gonna do a poll one day. I think I think we need to do it. We were talking to Drew and Chan, the influencers, and he was telling me, he's like, you gotta give the people what they want. The people want Mo Justin, give them Mo Justin, man. I don't know. I don't like being on the camera, as y'all can tell. Like I said in the last video, y'all saw me in. I ain't made for this, but at the same time, I'll pop out and make y'all laugh a little bit. That's one thing I'm good for. I'll make some people laugh. So
yes, he makes me laugh all the time. But yeah, I hope this episode was helpful for you guys. If any of you are going through not just unexpected pregnancy, but just any type of big life change, whether it's by yourself or with your partner, I just really hope that this gives y'all insight into maybe what your partner is feeling and what they're going through. And even though it might be hard in the moment because it feels like things are happening to you personally, try your best not to forget that your partner is also going through a huge transition. And even though you might be the one going through all of the physical and emotional changes, he is still having his own thoughts, feelings, and emotions about the situation. So I am sorry if I did ever, make you feel like you were not important or as important in those moments. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast before you leave. Leave a like, comment, and a 5-star rating.
This a hotel?
What?
You said 5-star rating.
Well, yeah, I need the ratings so that my podcast goes up in the ratings.
5-star.
Yes, 5 stars only, please. I hope that you guys have a great Monday, a great week, and I will talk to you in my next episode. Bye.